Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Prepping 101. Today we're talking about fat fire starters, or Fatwood, or fat packs. So what is that? So when it's cold like this, I can't help but think of how nice a hot, warm fire would be if you got caught out in this weather. So the colder it gets, the more I think about fire making and the importance of it. And the other day I went up into the mountains and I tried out some of my fire starting hacks in a pretty solid rain bordering on snow mixture, and yeah, it was a little bit of a wake-up call, and I felt like I needed to up my game a little bit and add some Fatwood to my fire starting system. So what is Fatwood? Fatwood is a naturally occurring phenomenon when a pine tree or a conifer tree of any kind, like a fir or pine is best, if and when they die, the sap that's in throughout the whole tree, the pitch, the pine pitch that's in the whole tree settles down into where the limbs, so all of the pitch from the limb will go into the tree and settle right there in that knock. So the area, well, like a pine knot that you find in the forest floor, it doesn't rot because of what's called the pitch, or the resin that's in the wood. And the resin deposits down in those pine knots, and it's harder than the rest of the wood. It's protected from rotting, and it's still there. So if you can find a pine knot, that's a great, a great form of Fatwood. Also in the tree stump. So when the whole tree dies, the sap from the entire tree, the resin goes down into the stump, and it creates this red-colored wood. Now this is some Fatwood that I purchased, but you can find Fatwood in a stump. Learning how to recognize it is not that hard. It has a texture to it that seems almost like it's oil impregnated, and it doesn't look white like the rest of the pine tree. It has this amber golden color because that's the resin. This one's really got some strong, almost looks like bacon in the way it's textured and layered in some Fatwood. So this is definitely Fatwood. I purchased this already harvested for me. It cost $4.99. I have harvested Fatwood and couldn't harvest it myself, but I'm getting old and beat up, so I thought I'd just buy some. And this is super dry, super flammable, resin impregnated, natural, no chemical added fire starters. So that's what Fatwood is. And you can use this to start a fire because it will burn hot and keep going, and it'll dry out some other wood that maybe isn't as seasoned as well, or isn't dried out as well. So it's a great form of starting fires. One little stick like this can be a real lifesaver in getting a fire started. Now this is another product out that they call a fat pack. Now this is a cotton product. I don't know that it's Quickfire tab. Survival tinder Quickfire tabs, also known as fat packs. This one is done by adventuresurvivalequipment.com. Best Glide ASE out of Robinson, Texas, I think is the maker. So what I'm going to do for us is I'm going to take this ferro rod here and striker, and I'm going to bust open one of these fat packs, and I'm just going to test it. So from what I've seen, you just want to kind of fluff them out. You're trying to turn them inside out. Whoops, inside out like that. So kind of make like a mushroom there and pull that dude inside out and kind of fluff it up. You might take it in your hands like that and fluff it up. Kind of create a cotton ball like so. Then I'm going to lay this right here, and I'm going to hit it with a ferro rod and see, how flammable are these little fat packs. Let's see. Okay, so far, if that was let me stand up here. If that was I'm going to put it right on it. If that was a cotton ball and Vaseline, it would have already started. Let's see. There it goes. Alright, so we got a pretty good fire going right there. I'd say it's about like a cotton ball. It's lasting longer, I think, than a cotton ball wrapped in Vaseline. Let's see if it burns all the way down, because cotton balls with Vaseline tend to kind of charcoal up and then stop burning. Be patient. Fire starting is all about patience. Watch the flame, isn't it pretty? For all you pyros out there. I'd say, I don't know if it's worth more than a cotton ball. It's definitely cleaner than a cotton ball with Vaseline on it, and it burns better than a standard cotton ball. These are all the rage right now, these little cotton fatback tinder quick fire tabs is what they're called. It seems to burn all the way down and continue burning for a longer period of time. While that's burning, I'm going to get this Fatwood here and start working it a little bit. Because, well, they say that... Let's get this flame over here to the side. They say that you can take the back of your blade and just scrape this Fatwood and get a little resin pile. Let's see if that works. And that's a pretty sharp edge. I should be able to get some scrapings. I've never done this. I've always just used, whoops, my lean up job here is not working. It's farting down. Stay up there. There we go. Maybe not. The beauty of no editing. Alright, good enough. So I've scraped off a pretty good pile of this here. As you can kind of see right there, I've got a little stand of it going, just using the back of my knife to scrape it. Let's do a little more of that right in that really resiny looking area. There you go, you can see we got that going. Now I'm just going to split this a couple times. Let me put this down on the ground. Well, I can put it up here. It'll be alright. So I got a little piece right there. And so that's going to be just some added fuel. I got my little shavings there. Now I'm going to do some feather stick curls. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but I'm telling you, I should have hooked up my tripod. Now we're just going to make some little curls. Let's see, we're getting some curls there. You can really see the resin now as I start to cut into the wood there. It's got a very dark color. You can really see the pine resin build up and almost looks like a solid fuel. Looks like a fuel cube. If you can see that, it doesn't even look like wood. It's starting to kind of look like plastic or stone even. Woo! I spread it everywhere. It broke. Oh my gosh, I lost a bunch of my timber. Well, you know what? Live, unedited stuff happens. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that little pile. You can see we got going there. A little pile of tinder and kindling and the basics for a fire. Let's see how good this is. Let's see if I can get it going with a ferro rod with no cotton. Just the shavings. Probably should have more, but let's see. Oh, I can use the striker, not my knife. A little better. Okay, so that's not working so good, just catching a spark. But if I combine this big time with this Fatwood, it would probably really take off. Try to throw some more sparks in there. It's really cold out here too, and it's really damp. There's water hanging in the air, and that always affects the way that ferro rods throw sparks and the way that sparks catch. And I gotta tell you, I've not been really impressed with this MSR ferro rod. It just does, it's not real, I don't know if it's the striker or the rod, but it just doesn't throw sparks very good, not compared to some of the other ones I own. So it's getting a failing grade right now. And I felt that way when I took this up in the mountains too. It throws sparks half the time. Let me try it with my knife blade. See if it's the striker. Oh yeah, no, that's way more, that is way more fire. It is the striker. So, not all strikers are created equal. Now this thing is really throwing some sparks. If I hadn't spread my dust out when that broke, I probably would be making fire right now. That does make a huge difference with my knife blade. And this is stainless. You think it wouldn't throw sparks so good, but it is really... Alright, well I can't seem to get the Fatwood going with just the Fatwood. So let's do one of these. So it is my opinion that you really, with Fatwood, you really either got to lay down a serious pile of dust and try to get a coal going, or you got to have some kind of other starter like the old cotton ball trick, or you're going to have to get a grass bundle and get it going that way. But let's just start a fire now. Yeah, I think I'll just throw that striker away. Make me one out of a... There we go. We have fire. Yay! Flames. So, you know, the fat pack works better than the Fatwood for catching a spark. But watch how easily this Fatwood takes off. Look at that. You can see the fluid just dripping out of it. It takes off so easy, like quicker than a match. If I'm gonna get a fire going, I better put some of this other stuff on here. Wow, that's really a lot of fire. And that's just a little bit. That wasn't a whole lot of the Fatwood. That's a Fatwood and a fat pack. I think that would get the most, you know, the most wet wood burning if you use that. You can see just that little pile of sticks there on that Fatwood. It's got a different kind of flame too. It's a lot of heat. It's putting off a lot more heat than you'd expect from just a pile of twigs. That combination, that's the get her done in a rainstorm, little fire making combination, is the fat pack cotton or a cotton ball mixed with this Fatwood resin, natural impregnated resin wood. Yeah, definitely. I'm a believer in the Fatwood. And like I said, I've never tried to spark flatwood before. Maybe if I made another small pile of the scrapings and was a little more studious and careful, or had a better, more stable, like this table is wobbly that I'm working on out here. But yeah, super impressed at the burning power. I mean, watch this flame. It just keeps on going. It's almost like there's coal or something there burning, or some kind of fuel source. And that's coming from that Fatwood more than the fat pack. I mean, it's really getting going. So the combination of a little fat pack and a little chunk of Fatwood, and you have got yourself a first-rate fire. And you know, I've used barely, not even half a stick, just a little. You saw the little chunk I split off of there. It wasn't a big chunk at all. It was like maybe 1/10 of this one stick. So definitely impressed with the Fatwood from Sportsman's Warehouse. But I think it would take right off with a lighter. Let's test that. Ooh, one more test before I finish. Let's see if it'll just light like a candle. Yeah, it just lights like a birthday candle. And look at it drip. See that black smoke pouring off there? That's from the pine pit, the pine resin. Fatwood is amazing. Look at that. So I highly recommend the all-natural Fatwood fire starter from Sportsman's Warehouse for $4.99. You get this whole box just crammed full of these split sticks. Very impressive, for certain. Well, and when it's burned up and the fuel's gone, it's done. All right, say goodnight, Irene. That's how you put fire out. All right, till next time from down by the river.